Hey everyone, welcome back to Your Career Oasis. I am Karin, and today we're going to talk through something that I've been doing a lot of in life and business, which is rebranding. I always thought that rebranding was a big event, like a one-time, like, hey everybody, we're going to launch this new rebrand. I'm a new thing, I'm a new person, I've got a new business, etc. And I have found that that's not at all how rebranding often goes. And so I'm going to talk through both my business rebrand and my personal rebrand, and then what this means for you at work and how you can be rebranding at work literally anytime you want, because you do not need a new year, a new job, or even any sort of announcement to rebrand. You can just do it quietly. You can do it today in just simply the ways that you show up. So starting with myself right now, I am in the middle of a business rebrand. I used to lean heavily into this concept of badassery, and I actually based my entire brand around that concept. I used to have a purple faux hawk. I still can have a faux hawk. I still have the cut. I don't wear it up as much as I used to. And I used to use really bright and vivid colors in my branding and in my content. And the truth about that brand is that I created that it only represented one side of me. And what's interesting to me about that is that that side, I find, is no longer as outwardly prevalent or present as it used to be. And, I think that's just because we evolve, right? But I actually created an entire digital career transition course, and I titled it Bold Moves and Badassery. And it's so interesting to me because that was just at the end of last year. And even saying the title of it actually just doesn't feel aligned for me anymore. And so I started calling it the Bold Moves Career Course, which I still really like, even though inside all the videos it says Bold Moves and Badassery. So it is what it is, but it just doesn't feel aligned for me anymore. So I've really been working on changing that up. The reason that this shift has occurred is that I've evolved and grown. A huge aspect to that is me becoming a mom about 1.5 years ago. For those who have been through it in any sort of parenting perspective, you know that it really shifts how you show up. It shifts what you're available for. It shifts your energy. It shifts just about everything in life. If you've actually been the pregnant and birthing person, it can really make you forget who you are because you become something completely different. And although I personally don't really identify with the idea of mom or with that identity and everything that's put on top of it, I still am living out motherhood, and I still am a mother, and I still have become a different person, and I'm still working through that. I mean, I do feel more like quote unquote myself than I had, in the past year. And I'm still working and trying to understand what all of that means. I've really been rebranding as a person, and I think my business has needed to catch up with that. The biggest lesson that I am going to offer you today is about rebranding is less about the external labels. It's more about alignment. It's more about aligning the way that you're seen with who you actually are now. What this means for you at work is that some people might see you, maybe you're known as the go-to problem solver, but internally you're actually really ready to be in a far more strategic role. Or maybe you've spent your time being quiet in meetings, but you are internally ready to have a bigger voice. Another one is maybe you're ready to set a few boundaries around your time, around your energy, around the things that you take on. Any of that is a rebrand, because the rebrand, the alignment needs to be internal, but that does have impacts on the external, right? You should align your brand with who you are internally, not on the external expectations of what other people think you're going to do or want from you. Okay. And you do not need a new title or a new job to rebrand yourself, to show up differently. You don't have to announce to your team that you're going to start showing up differently. You can if you want to. If you think it's a big deal, you can, but you don't have to announce it. You truly just need to start showing up differently. And you need to do that consistently. When you are consistent with it, people will begin to see you the way that you are internally. Now you're bringing that internal external. I use the example of my business. I have been slowly rebranding, and I've changed my entire color palette. I've changed my fonts. So there's like a visual rebrand. My look, I'm trying to just lean into more how I show up because I'm a mom and I honestly don't style my hair every day. That's just the way it is. I started the rebrand and just kind of did it. I actually was in the middle of preparing for a keynote speech that has slides, and I had already submitted my slides for approval. And I just felt like, no, I need to show up as my new brand. And I rebranded the entire presentation and resubmitted it. It's like I just decided to do it. I didn't make an announcement. I didn't actually even hire a branding consultant, and maybe I should. Maybe I'll get there. But for now, it just felt like I needed to present my business in a way that felt much more aligned with who I am now. If you are at all like, okay, yeah, I mean, there are some things that feel a little out of alignment, I just want you to know I have a free 3-day tool that's going to support you in understanding what's important to you and kind of how to go through a more aligned shift in how you're showing up. I'll talk more about it at the end. So a few tips and challenges here, because rebranding is shaping how you're experienced by others. The rebrand is internal, but the experience is other people's experience. It's external. Okay, so there's a few things we need to talk through in terms of like, how do you actually rebrand yourself? Especially if you're not making an announcement, you're not hiring a branding expert, you're just starting to show up differently. So a few simple tips for you here. First, audit your current brand. If this is you at work, you can just ask yourself, how do people at work currently see me? If it's with your family or personal life, how do your friends see you? How do your clients see you? How do people currently see you? What are some actions that you take? What are some of your behaviors? That's going to help you audit and understand your current state. And in order to get to a future state, we have to at least know where we currently are. So for my business, as an example, I was edgy, exciting, and bold. And while I still have all of that in me, just because we rebrand doesn't mean that all of those parts of us go away. That's not really the energy that I put out anymore. And I've experienced folks who were attracted to that brand meeting me, and then there's just kind of a disconnect. They're like, wait, who is this person? I'm not the person they expect me to be through my content and through the branding that I'm putting out. For my humanness, I was used to have all this energy to put out there in that way, and I just don't have that anymore. Okay, I have a 16-month-old. My energy is very redirected to different purposes, and it doesn't mean I don't give energy out into the world. It just means that I focus on being generally far more peaceful and far more grounded. And so audit your current brand. Know, like, where are you? Who are you? How are people experiencing you at this time? Then you decide what's changing. Do you want to be more visible? Do you want to be more direct in your communication? Do you want to be more values driven? What aspects do you want to lean into? You have to decide what's changing so that you know what actions it is that you want to take. And then you actually have to align those actions. So you start practicing that version of you, okay? So if you want to be seen as a leader, you lead conversations, you make decisions, you share ideas. If you've been people pleasing a lot and you're looking to do less of that, you are going to start using the word no. And that's your action, is just to say, no, I can't do that right now. So decide what's changing, and then you align your actions with what it is you want to change. And then the last part, so crucial, is that you have to be consistent with it. Because rebranding doesn't mean it's a one-time announcement. It's not like, hey, everybody, I'm going to not people please anymore, and then just saying it, right? It's about action, and it's about repeating that action. So you have to keep showing up that way until it just becomes your new normal. And there can be some discomfort in that, because I really want to prepare you. You're going to receive pushback. I don't care what kind of rebrand, what kind of change, how you're aligning more internally. The external, there are going to be folks who are going to push back on that. Some people are not going to like it. When you change how you show up to a situation, you are shaking up the paradigm of that situation. And other people are going to have a certain expectation of a situation. You are going to be shaking up their paradigm of what their perspective and their expectation of what happens in the situation. Some people will adapt, no problem. Other people aren't going to be able to handle it. If you've been a yes person and you suddenly start saying no, There are going to be people who test you. If you've been always available, friend or coworker, and you start setting boundaries, someone out there is going to start calling you selfish. And if you've been the one to always go along with others' ideas, but suddenly you start saying, I disagree, there are going to be people who take that personally. You just need to know that that is part of the process and prepare yourself for it. And it's not failure. That is just proof that you are aligning more with yourself and less on external validation and the external pressure. You haven't changed. You're just forcing other people to change how they interact with you. Not everyone's going to be on board. Some will try to pull you back into that old version of you because it was more comfortable for them. But this process is about you being more comfortable with yourself, not making other people more comfortable. And that's the challenge. It's also the point. You're deciding whose comfort you're prioritizing, your comfort or their comfort. The takeaway here is that you don't have to wait for a new year, for a promotion, for a specific date, or for permission from anyone else to rebrand or to move to a more aligned way of moving through the world. You can do it right now, today, in the small choices that you are making about how you show up. So I leave you with a reflection. What part of your personal or professional brand feels outdated? What feels like it might be ready for an update? If you are considering that, I really recommend that you grab my free 3-day power up, because it's tools and activities to help you understand what is important to you and help you visualize how you can take action based on what is important to you. It provides you new operating system based on your human design, and it gives you the tools to help you not fall back into the old brand or the version of yourself. So when people try to pull you back into that old version, you're going to have tools to make sure you don't follow them and that you instead lead yourself and your new version of yourself in the future. Thank you for being here with me today. If you liked what you heard, do what you do to support podcasts. Like and subscribe to this episode. Leave me a positive review. And then always connect with me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at Your Career Oasis. Until next time, keep showing up as the version of you that just feels the most true to you right now.